I think you kind of hit the nail on the head where you said when people experience how good they can feel,
yeah,
that's where the true power comes in. Because
Yeah.
we could talk about this all day and like, yeah, I've heard this 1,000 times, but
you gotta feel it.
like once they feel it and they're like, what on earth? Why on earth would I go back to doing what I was doing before? Now they're making the choice for themselves, and that's where the true power is, as opposed to being it, from us or somebody else, down onto them.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me share one more habit while I'm thinking about it, because these 6 are kind of my core. If I have people that are really struggling, this is the 6 that I really kind of work on with them. And I usually work on 1 or 2 at a time, and that's what I'll ask you guys to do next. But the last one is sleep. I mean, I cannot overemphasize how important sleep is when it comes to optimizing the hormonal state of your body, your mood, your energy, so on and so forth. If you don't get sleep, the way that I've heard it described is, if you get to a point of stress, whether that's physical, sleep, work, lifestyle, emotional, doesn't matter. If you get to a point of stress over a 5 out of a 10, your choices then become hijacked, right? So let's say your intention is to eat 10 servings of vegetables today, and you get to a stress point of 5 out of a 10, right? Well, guess what? You're going to go to your built-in mechanisms, your built-in coping mechanisms that were forged during childhood and during your adolescence, right? For me, that's eating food, and that's eating crappy food and stuff like that. So I have to be super aware. When I'm running these big launches, I have a tendency to want to just go off the handle. My wife's like, you're going off the handle. I'm like, I know I'm going off the handle, but I'm still going to go off the handle. My mind is completely hijacked by the stress. Yeah. And so one of the easiest ways to feel more energy, to feel less stress, is just to get some better sleep. You know what I mean? And this is just huge. If you go from 6 hours to 7.5 hours, your life's going to change. If you go from 7.5 hours, most of the days, to 7.5 hours every day, and then maybe like a weekend of like 9, oh my God, you're going to feel so much better. And the funny thing is, I've had people, Yuri, where they were doing almost everything right, but they still slept like crap and were kind of stressed out. We worked on those 2 angles, mostly from like walking, deep breathing, and sleeping, and all of a sudden they start burning fat. Yeah. It wasn't the food, it wasn't the exercise, which is what most people always equate diet to. It was the synergy of a lifestyle change that came from developing these little tiny habits. So, I mean, sleep is gigantic. Some simple tips for this. Turn the TV off a half hour earlier. Read instead so you get tired before you go to bed. Just simply going to bed a half hour earlier will be a huge transformation for you. Get some blackout shades over your windows since you're in a pitch black room. That's going to really help boost melatonin production, which is going to help you fall asleep easier, stay asleep longer. Limit electromagnetic frequency distractions from your room. Like, don't have like alarm clocks and crazy things whizzing and soaring all around you. Try to keep that stuff on the other side of the room as far away from you as possible. So we actually do know from a scientific perspective that EMFs do increase cortisol. Cortisol is the hormone that wakes you up in the morning. So it's really something we want to think about if your sleep quality is not there, is maximizing the quality of your sleep, not just the quantity of your sleep. And then if you can, like, try to go to bed closest to the sun going down as you can. I'm not saying like the sun goes down at 7, you got to go to bed at 7, but like, let's go to bed at 9:30, 10 o'clock, 10:30. Let's not stay up till midnight watching TV just because we have to wake up at 6 a.m. the next morning and, hit the grind again.
Might be tough if you live in like Alaska or Scandinavia.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So there's certain areas where the sun isn't as consistent as the equator. So